Welcome to Wanted Down Under Revisited. Today, we're catching up with the Jones family, who we first met back in 2006, when we gave them the chance to sample the life in Queensland, Australia.
Sarah, Don and their boys Josh, Mitchell and Harvey believed there was a better life for them in Australia. Dad Don was a carpet fitter. He was fed up with his long commute to work in London.
The job I do is very hard, and I'm not saying that when I get to Australia it's going to be easy.
Full-time mum Sarah wanted more for her children.
I don't think by the time they're older, I don't think there's going to be much room to breathe in this country.
They were put to the ultimate test on a trial week in Oz in 2006, where they experienced what life down under had to offer.
You get one life, you get one chance at this. Make the best of it.
You can't stop what's going to happen. You've got to do what's right for your family.
3 years on, I went to see how they were getting on.
Hello, the Jones family.
Hi, Nikki.
Hello.
Did they make their dream move down under, or did disaster strike?
My dad hadn't been very well, and we got the dreaded phone call, because he'd had an aneurysm. And when they actually cut him open and seen, he'd only actually got 10 minutes to live because it was that far gone.
The whole family had been on a nail-biting journey, but did they choose to live in Australia or stay in the UK?
Wanted Down Under puts British families to the ultimate test by giving them the chance to try life in Australia. They have just 1 week to find out about homes, work and lifestyle before voting on their future. But what happened next? We've caught up with some of our original families to find out where they are now. In 2006, the Jones family from Bedfordshire were facing the biggest decision of their lives, whether to stay in the UK or to move to Australia. We gave them a week to experience every aspect of life down under, but was it all they dreamt it would be?
Donovan and Sarah had spent most of their 16 years together dreaming of making a new life in Australia. Don regularly worked a 13-hour day, including a 2.5-hour commute from the family's home in Bedfordshire to central London.
It's just getting harder out here. It's harder to work, harder for the kids to enjoy themselves, and everything's getting more expensive here. It's not getting any cheaper.
Full-time mum Sarah's days were full, looking after sons Joshua, Mitchell and Harvey. She wanted a better life for them all.
The kids will come in when it's winter time and all they'll do is sit in front of the TV if the weather's bad and stuff like that, and I don't really want that for my kids.
They'd faced some tough issues.
Circumstances didn't go our way. We lost Sarah's brother, and then her mother passed away.
And Don's brother in Australia had tried to convince him to emigrate.
Donovan came off the phone and went, my brother just said, why don't we move to Australia? And I thought, why don't we?
But could Australia really give them the chance to leave their troubles behind?
I'm going to find that very difficult, very difficult. It's going to take a lot of getting used to.
It was going to be a huge decision, and the boys were just as worried as their mum and dad.
Miss my house, miss my bedroom, all my friends. I'm going to miss my football team. I don't know anyone from the school, so I have to make new friends over again.
So could they really risk leaving friends and family behind for a better life in the sun?
To help Don and Sarah consider the massive risks they'd be taking, we sent them to Queensland. There were 3 different lifestyles to choose from. One in the country, one in the city, and one on the coast.
Option 1 was Brisbane, known as the River City, where life is played out along the banks of the River Brisbane. The city also boasts its own man-made beach, perfect for children to cool down from the scorching sun. 3 years ago, you could pick up a 4-bedroom suburban home for just £250,000, bang on the Jones family's budget. It was the craze to give older homes like this a slick contemporary finish, right through to the master bedroom. And a typical Aussie deck was a must to enjoy indoor-outdoor living to the max. There was plenty of carpet fitting work in the metropolis, and Dom would have earned a salary of around £40,000. That's £5,000 more than he was earning in the UK. Option 2 was the country. Queensland boasts some of the best national parks in the world. In 2006, properties out here were a bargain. You could buy a 4-bedroom home with 2 acres of land for just £130,000. If the Joneses had stretched their £250,000 budget, they could have lived in a home like this. There were lavish bedrooms, 2 living areas, and on a hot day, the children could have cooled down in the stylish pool. There wasn't much work for carpet fitters out here, and Dom would have had to have travelled extremely long distances to match his UK salary. Option 3 was surfers' paradise on the Gold Coast. Here, world-class beaches are just the beginning, as theme parks and entertainment shows add to the family fun. 3 years ago, plush harbourside homes were mushrooming. Not only did they offer the space a young family needs, but they had a luxury finish which would make you feel you're living the dream every day. Although waterfront living may have been a stretch too far for the Joneses, a 3-bed suburban home further out was within their £250,000 budget. The fancy high-rises in Surfers' Paradise meant carpet fitters were in demand. Don could have earned £1,000 a week. That's more than he took home in the UK. So which option was best suited for the Jones family? Did they chill out in the country, sample the buzzing city, or check out the coast?
The Jones family trialled life on Queensland's Gold Coast. With its famous beaches and work for Don, it all looked very inviting. But did it live up to their expectations?
It was a long trip for a family with young children. The Joneses' journey covered the 10,270 miles between London and Brisbane and took 22 hours. When they finally touched down, the whole family was exhausted.
A bit tiring, but...
Yeah, we're bleary-eyed, bushy-tailed now.
But they were excited about the life-changing week that lay ahead.
This must be it. Yeah. But we've already got mail.
The Jones family stayed in a traditional Queenslander-style house.
Oh, this is nice.
All mod cons were included, just the place to unwind after such a gruelling journey.
Oh, cool. TV.
They're going to be
What a nightmare.
telly junkies all over again.
Once they'd settled in, their first task was to find out about the kind of house they could really afford. Australia is a young country, and its innovation can be shown in the design of contemporary housing. Although homes down under might not be as cheap as some people think, buyers do get more for their money. Modern properties like this cost about £500,000. This house recently won Australia's Home of the Year award. It's on the market for around £800,000, but back in the UK, a place like this would cost you millions. What distinguishes the architecture of Australian homes is the focus on outdoor living. The aim is to feel like you're outside even when you're in the bathroom. And as there are over 2 million people of Asian descent living in Australia, it's unsurprising that many homes have taken on the Oriental style. But although it may seem like heaven on earth, be warned. Pools can cost around £50 a month to maintain, and then there's the air conditioning bill for the house. If they had decided to move, the Joneses would have had to sell their 3-bedroom house in Bedfordshire, worth around £250,000 in 2006. Finding the right house quickly was crucial. They looked at 3 properties in and around Brisbane, which best matched up to their Aussie dreams. The first up was a 4-bedroom home on the market for about £190,000 in 2006, so within budget. Located in the suburb of Woolloongabba, it was built in the traditional slatted wooden style.
Ring that bell.
Hello, Sarah.
Take it, you're for you already. Sorry.
Come on in.
The current owner was keen to get a quick sale.
Why are you going to move then?
We need a pool.
Oh, right. Oh, is this obviously not got a pool?
We
then?
can't have a pool, and it's too hard to get the access, but once we go have a look in the backyard, you'll see. But we want a pool, don't we, boys? We want to go swimming,
So have you
don't
found,
we?
have you found anywhere yet then? And have you
have.
got the pool?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. I'll have a pool.
So whose room is this?
I'd like a bedroom like this.
Oh, it's so cool in here.
Yes, yeah, look, it is. And all the rooms have got ceiling fans as well.
Yeah.
So that makes a big difference. And I think the high ceilings encourage the air to circulate through.
Is it
also?
aircon? Is it aircon?
No, we don't have aircon. So look, we just have the natural breezes and the fan, so that just keeps us going.
Us English, we're a bit wimpy.
No pool and no air conditioning, but it did have the space they were looking for. 10 rooms in total and a separate bedroom for everyone.
And whose room is this, Levi?
Oh, this is a lovely room, isn't it?
And even though this is the smallest room,
Yeah,
it's still quite roomy.
Yeah. Get a double bed in it.
Oh, easily.
There was also a large garden and an impressive veranda to catch the Queensland sun.
Oh, this is lovely, isn't it? Oh, get the sun here as well, don't you?
Yes.
Oh, look at the trampoline.
So,
There were also some useful amenities nearby.
What are the schools like around here? Is it in
Well-
a good catchment area?
well, there's a little local school just behind that building over there, actually, Buranda, and it's great because you can just walk. It's just a walk across the way.
Yeah.
And did you notice the pub, Don?
Walking distance to the pub, that's fine.
You always
sorted,
need a local.
yeah.
So how did it compare to property further out of town?
Hi, Chris.
How are you doing?
I'm Sarah. This is Jonathan.
Hi, Chris, how you
Donovan.
doing?
House number 2 had 4 bedrooms and was on the market for around £200,000 in 2006, so under budget. Fingers crossed the Jones family would like it. It offered open plan living on a grand scale and even had a home cinema.
Through here, we've got the media room.
Look at this.
God, look at the size of that TV.
But the best was outside, where you also got a pool and a lot of extra space.
So is this all the land then that you can see belongs to this house?
Whatever's moored
Right.
and beyond what's moored is part of this property.
That is massive.
That section.
Land in Australia is much cheaper than in the UK, and out in the countryside, it wasn't uncommon to have a garden with 3 acres.
It's like having the field at the side of our
It's a football
house.
field.
Yeah. Well, that's what they like to do. They like to play football. It's like having the park in your house.
Wicked.
A big garden in Oz meant plenty of wildlife, and Sarah was worried it wasn't all friendly.
What kind of animals do they get out in them trees, Chris? Anything horrible like snakes?
You would get the bird life you have. You get the lorikeets and the kookaburras and stuff, but you'll see the occasional koala because you've got a few gum trees out there.
Oh,
Yeah.
lovely.
This is a good sized room. You could,
Josh
Get-
could have
get
this
a
as his
pool.
own little room, couldn't
there you
he?
get a pool table in there, easy.
Games room, yeah. Brilliant. Imagine having this as your garden. You can't imagine it, can you? You're just like gobsmacked about the size of it.
Sounded exciting, but for Don and Sarah, a garden this scale would have meant a lot of extra work. So what about house number 3?
Oh, well then, let's go.
Come on then, let's go and have a look at the last one. See what that's all about. You never know, mate. It might have a nice big swimming pool there.
The third property we found for the Jones family was a 4-bed Mediterranean-style villa on the market for £230,000 in 2006.
How there's kids, sir?
Built in an exclusive gated community, it even had its own security.
Yes, so please feel free if you want some refreshments.
You want to chop a biscuit, Josh? I know you will.
The luxury finish was evident all around the house, even in the bathroom.
As you can see, it's an open plan home, and it really just lends itself to casual entertaining, also formal as well.
The living room opened out into a huge kitchen dining area with French doors to a patio. Although the garden wasn't on the same scale as the previous property, it did boast a large saltwater swimming pool, which would be easy to maintain.
I would suggest about once a year you put a bag of salt in, that's about it.
It was the kind of residence the Joneses couldn't dream of owning in the UK.
I mean, it's just lovely, isn't it? It's got a lovely
really
atmosphere
is.
to the house.
I love the way that you can just go straight.
Exactly.
Leaving upstairs, straight in the pool, lovely.
Back in 2006, and before the house prices escalated, this house was still within the family's budget of £250,000.
Just can't believe it. It's like a dream, really, isn't it?
I think we found my room.
And being part of a self-contained community meant there were some useful shared facilities to enjoy, including a communal barbecue.
You know, I don't think there's anything more to do after now looking at the home, but to go and actually join the owners and the locals.
Down that barbecue. I'd love to see that, actually, because that's all on the water, that side,
It
isn't it?
certainly is.
Moving here would certainly have helped Don and Sarah make new friends. The riverfront view was spectacular, and so was the barbecued food.
I don't even think you could buy.
Let me tell you, they came straight off the trawler this morning.
Really? Talk about put a shrimp on the barbie. Look at the size of that. That's massive,
You know
isn't
what
it?
a bug is?
So, back in 2006, the Jones family saw 3 very different properties, and overall they were impressed with what they found. Property 1 was built in the traditional slatted wooden style. Although the garden was big, it didn't have a pool. Property 2 was a 4-bed split-level house with 3 acres of land plus a pool. And last but not least, Property 3 was a Mediterranean-styled villa. Not only did it have a pool, but it also had shared barbecue facilities, which would have helped the outgoing Joneses make new friends. So, how did the family vote for property? Was it the UK or Australia?
Right, lads, what do you prefer, UK properties or Australian properties?
Australia!
After a busy day house hunting, Don and Sarah tried out the local public transport in the shape of the City Cat, Brisbane's river bus. It was a far cry from the kind of commuting Don was used to.
What a way to go to work, eh? $15, which, you know, 7 odd quid for the whole family.
Yeah.
To go up and down the river, right away from top to bottom, return all day. Can't be bad, can it?
It's like travelling down the Thames on a sunny afternoon, isn't it?
No.
It may have been very different to the Thames, but travelling through the high-rise neighbourhood where he could have been working as a carpet fitter reminded Don of one of the reasons why doing his job in Australia may not have been as easy as he thought. Because down-to-earth Don was hiding a fear that he'd grappled with for years. Heights.
That's good. Scared of heights. Anyone watching this will be laughing their head off because they know what I'm like.
Just don't look down when you're up there.
They had to decide if they preferred getting around in the UK or Australia.
What do we think then? Public transport in the UK or Australia? Australia.
Right, are we kids? Do you want some hot chocolate?
Back at the rental house, Don was really excited about the potential move.
You now can sort of like start looking at where you want to live and properties, etc. And, you know, schools for the kids, etc.
But the rest of the family were in sombre mood, and eldest son Josh dropped a bombshell that no one had predicted. He wasn't convinced he'd be better off separated from his friends in the UK.
The thing I miss about home is like my friends, my football team, my granddad, and my grandma, my other granddad.
At the end of the day, we've all got to make new friends as well. You know, it's easy for kids because you go to school and you are with people you've got no choice but to make friends, you know. Whereas us, we have to work a little bit harder at making friends because they're not just there like they are at school.
Sarah had to initially forget her dreams of emigrating as her mother and brother were taken ill.
My brother died in 1997, and and then after that, well, my mum had, you know, she had bad arthritis, but she just sort of like declined. I knew my mum was going to die, and I just couldn't do it while she was here, still alive. I really just couldn't do it. I felt guilty about going off and like having a nice life while my mum was suffering. It's not fair. But then
Then you also think that when people are going to die, they're going to die, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can either sit there and wait for the whole family to die and then feel like, right, we can move now. By that time, we'll be far too old. Or you can just say, right, you can't stop what's going to happen. You've got to do what's right for your family.
You know, at the end of the day, you could get run over tomorrow by a bus, can you? You know, you've got to, you get one life, you get one chance at this. Make the best of it, because it's, you know, if you sit back and think what I should have done. I've heard so many people say, oh, if I'd done this when I was younger, if I'd done that. They've never done it, and they regret it.
I'll never, ever forget what happened, you know, with my brother and stuff. You never, ever do, and it never gets any easier. Yeah, he's had a leukemia, and I don't know. Just never wish you're gonna, you know, you never think that you're gonna lose a brother or a sister, and it happens, and when it happens to you, it's like, this doesn't happen to you, it happens to somebody else. Oh, you can't do it, sorry.
It's too hard. It's too hard for Sarah, that. Think about her brother and that. It's around this time as well, so you know, she finds it a little bit delicate.
Thinking about her brother's death had brought Sarah back down to earth. So, to help her with her huge decision to come, Don had organised a surfing trip.
Good old British weather today.
But Sarah found it tough, coming face to face with her huge fear about moving to Oz, the sea.
I'm just a bit concerned about this over here, look, this side. Not a safe swimming area. Could be the tide or it could be the sharks, I'm not quite sure.
Surfing instructor Carl wasn't going to let a little thing like torrential rain put them off.
Surfing in the rain, it's actually quite good. If it's sunny, sometimes it's a bit windy, so you get a bit of chop, a bit of bump. But when it rains, it smooths it right out and it's quite good. So thumbs up for surfing in the rain. Love it. Try and dry off your hands a little bit. Dry off your hands a little bit.
Yeah,
this is the way we put on sunscreen.
Why are we putting sunscreen on when it's freezing?
Well, sun doesn't stop the harmful UV rays. Like, so the clouds won't stop it. The sun's going to penetrate through the clouds no matter what.
Sarah had suffered from a fear of going into the water since she was a child, and like Don's fear of heights, she'd have to conquer that to get the most out of a new life in Australia. But Carl convinced her that a little danger could be a good thing.
Really great with the kids, and he's even better with me.
And after a difficult start, the whole family put their worries aside and enjoyed a good day out. Sarah seemed won over, but it was eldest son Josh who had the biggest reservations about the move. As the week drew to a close, he had the whole family's future in the palm of his hands. In 2006, it was final vote time. Would he vote for Australia or the UK?
1, 2, 3. Australia.
Australia.
My mind's in...
What's that mean, Nick?
What's that, Jay?
My mind's in two thingies at the moment.
Oh, yeah? Well, that's all right. At least you're being honest, son.
The pressure of making such a huge decision was just too much for Josh to cope with. So, back in 2006, the whole family's future was left hanging in the balance. They hoped he'd change his mind. So, that was 2006. But what happened next? 1 year on, we caught up with them. Were they down under or still in the UK? They were in Australia, where the world-famous beaches of the Gold Coast were literally on their doorstep. Don and Sarah had rented a 3-bedroom property in the family-friendly suburb of Pacific Pines. It cost them around £200 a week.
Welcome to our house.
In 2007, we visited them to see how they were getting on.
This is the hallway. Goes both ways. This is a low set. This is 1-storey house.
Called a bungalow in the UK.
Bungalow in the UK.
They'd only been living in the country for a month, so they were still living out of boxes.
We sold the house in the UK.
and then we lived with Don's mum and dad for 7 weeks before we actually moved out here, which was a great idea because what we'd done was when we sold the house, we had the removal the container guys in to literally remove all the stuff. So while we were living at his parents,
stuff was on its way.
Stuff was on its way. So by the time we got here, I mean, we moved into this house on Thursday, and the container came on the Monday. So we only had a couple of days where we had to make do and mend, yeah. So it was great, actually.
The one thing they were looking for in Australia was more space, and this house certainly had plenty.
We haven't decided what this is yet, because our furniture just is not big enough for the size of the rooms that we've got in here. Then we've got the living area. If you look over there, you can see right out into the Gold Coast and the sea beyond. So technically, we've got a sea view.
This is going to be a bit like a study when we order the furniture for it, and it'll also be, you know, obviously if we have a family over, which we will have from the UK, it'll act as like another bedroom. So it's got a lot of potential. It could be used for multi-purpose, basically.
Yeah, at the moment the boys have got their Wii, and obviously it's like our new TV stand. I think it's very posh. Subwoofer in there. Very nice.
Let's hope Sarah had more influence in the other rooms.
Here, and you've got our master bedroom, which has got a fantastic view. Yeah. All the rooms in this house have got a beautiful view, to be honest, even the ones at the front of the house. So this is the Pacific Pines. This is where we've looked and researched, and hopefully we maybe buy land or buy a house. We haven't quite decided what we'll do. We've looked at a few show homes and stuff, but in time we'll make our mind up. Now we're here, we don't have to rush things.
Not everything was going to plan.
We've got Mitchell's room. Mitchell's in a little bit of a state at the moment because we can't find the screws to put his bed together.
They bought the bed, the headboard, but no screws. We don't know where they are. But he's got his Man United covers, so he's happy.
Yeah, exactly.
This is Josh's room. Double bed.
Joshua and Mitchell were in football teams. And what the guys did, I know we haven't got a lot of them out because they have got trophies and stuff that need to go out, but all the old team signed.
They all signed this. They signed the football. That's his pride and joy by the side of his bed. Mitchell's got the same with his team.
Never to be kicked.
It's never to be used, that ball.
Oh yeah, you got to show them this, Josh. Oh, what about that other trophy? That's it, look.
We can't wait to get this one out.
I'm definitely going to play soccer.
Football, Johnny, not soccer. They call it soccer, it's still football. Still football.
While the children played, Don and Sarah reflected on the huge changes to their lives.
We're starting to settle in now.
I think once all the running around stops, seriously, because there is a lot of running around to do, don't come over here and think, yeah, it's going to be great straight away, because it's a lot of hard work to do when you come here, getting things set up and cars and houses. But I think once all this is done, and ours is nearly done finally, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then we can, you know, start relaxing a little bit on a weekend and do things that we really want to do.
I think by the end of next week we'll be
sorted.
We'll be sorted and back in the routine. So it'd be good.
It seemed like plain sailing, but with elder son Josh so hesitant about the move, was there a storm on the horizon? Many people move down under for its promise of a better lifestyle, but is it all it's cracked up to be? The Gold Coast epitomises the best of outdoor living, with its endless sun-kissed beaches and world-famous surf. But if you're planning on basking out in the sun all day, be warned. Australia has the highest rate of skin cancer in the world, and 2 out of every 3 people develop some form of the condition in their lifetime. So if you're a sun seeker down under, don't forget to pack your sun cream. In 2006, the Jones family made the move down under and were really feeling the benefits of the hot climate for the whole family.
Yeah, we definitely spend more time outside, definitely. No doubt about it.
It is definitely a more outdoor way of life here, isn't it? And because everybody else is so outdoor, you seem to become the same way as what they are as well, which is great, because that's what we wanted, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a lot more freedom, I think. You'll look forward to things to do at the weekend more, because you know you're going to have a better weather conditions, because you know you're going to think, right, well, Friday we can plan this for Saturday and we can plan this for Sunday.
I mean, you've got this 20 minutes away. You know, you can just bring them down here, they're safe, swim in the little lagoon bit, and we can just sit and chill.
But although they were beginning to settle in, Sarah and Don couldn't help worrying about son Josh, who was never keen on the move. He was feeling homesick as he faced huge changes in his life.
Josh will start school on Monday, and I think he's quite nervous about it. It's a school, there's a lot of kids there, a lot more than what he's had before, isn't he? So we just got to take it and see how he goes.
For Mum and Dad, their children's happiness was all that mattered, but until they started school, it was impossible to establish a routine. Pacific Pines Primary had over 1,200 pupils. Since making the huge move down under in 2006, the prospect of having to make new friends petrified Mitchell and Josh. Sarah tried to cheer them up with their first Aussie uniforms.
What grade are you going to be in?
7.
Oh, well, you won't be here next year, you'll be over the road, won't you, at the high school?
Yep, the big school. What do you think of the uniform, Mitch?
Quite cool.
Is it? Better than the big blazers that you wear in the UK, isn't it?
Yeah.
Need it in this heat. They're quite trendy as well, aren't they?
They're unisex.
Very
Boys
smart.
and girls wear the same.
All right, okay. So the
Unisex
girls wear the
uniform.
shorts as well?
Shorts, or they can wear a skirt, but most of our
Right.
girls like the shorts now.
Right, okay.
And they do their sport in this, so we don't have to have an extra sports uniform.
Oh, that's great, isn't it? Feel all right in it?
Put your hat on, mate.
There's your hat. Are the hats one size?
Yeah, you can just adjust that. What do you think, Josh?
Oh, right.
What do you think? Oh, yeah, it's cool.
It's a lovely polo shirt, that. No ironing.
No, you don't have to iron it.
One less thing for me to iron out here.
Sarah seemed far more excited about the snazzy uniforms than her sons.
Okay, you have a lovely weekend. Lovely to meet you.
Thank you ever so much
and
for
we'll
your
see you at
help.
school, guys.
They may have looked like proper Aussie students, but neither boy looked convinced about going to school there. In 2006, the Joneses test drove what would become their new life in Australia.
Talk about put a shrimp on the barbie. Look at the size of that. That's massive.
In 2007, we paid them a visit down under. They'd only just made the move, and the boys were anxious about the daunting changes that lay ahead.
We've just got to take it and see how he goes.
It's been 2 years, and we've gone to see how they're getting on now, and their home is still very much
Australia!
And they're still in the same rented home as before, but I was eager to find out firsthand what had changed.
Hello, the Jones family.
Hi, Nikki.
Hello. Oh, Harvey, look how much you've grown. Am I allowed to have a look around your house? Yeah, can I come in? Yeah? OK, then.
Permission to enter gained.
Right, boys, do you want to go and play?
Yeah.
And we're going to have a look around the house.
See you later. This is nice. Very nice.
Come through.
Inside, it's a very different house.
Come through to our kitchen, Nikki. It's a little bit different to the last time.
This is nice. Yes, last time it was full of boxes.
Yeah, it was a bit.
Yeah.
I like the open plan living. How long did it take you to get the house straight?
Still doing it.
You've had 2 years.
I know.
2 years has gone so quickly, hasn't it?
The Joneses are still searching for their dream home, and they're hoping not to be here much longer.
The house is very neutral, isn't it? All the walls. Is that because you're renting?
Yeah, I mean, obviously if you do anything different to a rental property, you must always get permission off the real estate people who you're renting it through. And normally it's under conditions that you put it back to how it was when you first moved in the property.
But they've tried to make it as homely as possible and have even given the children their own games room.
So how old's Harvey now?
He's 5 now. Yeah, he was about 2.5, 3 when we moved out here, wasn't it? It's just gone so quick.
It's a great age to bring him out. I suppose when you get into teenage years, that's another thing.
Yeah, he doesn't know any different. He was so young when we brought him over here that his life is Australia, isn't it? He doesn't remember really anything about living in England.
Definitely,
Such a big decision, but when you look at your kids and you see how they're thriving, it's like, what a great move that we've done to Australia.
Well, they certainly seem very happy. They've got their own games room.
Yeah.
So that's more than they had in the UK, wasn't it?
Yeah, they're happy with that.
Yeah. Although I can't imagine them being in the house for very long when the weather's like that outside.
Mitchell and Josh may enjoy playing out in the sun, but the emotional upheaval that comes with making such a massive move has taken its toll on both of them. Mum and Dad are worried about the children's happiness.
So you've been here for 2 years now. You've settled in wonderfully and life seems to be a bit of a success. But for Mitchell and Josh, how difficult was it for them to settle in?
Josh, at first we did think we were going to have a problem with Joshua being at that age and stuff, but it was actually Mitchell that we had a few problems with. Couldn't bear to speak to anyone in the UK, it just upset him too much. I suppose you don't realise till you do move or you do something which is a big change in your family life, how sensitive he really was to the move and stuff.
What did you both do? What did you try to get them to do to take their minds off it?
Well, at first, I mean, obviously, when you do move, you've got so much going on, haven't you? But you really have to sit and take stock and make sure that your children are all right and have a chat with them and also be understanding and patient. But to watch my son go through what he was going through, that was really hard for us, wasn't it, to watch that?
Yeah, it was, definitely.
But despite the pain, the risk seems to have paid off. The boys have settled in now and are even enjoying school.
It was a bit scary, but yeah, I got used to it and made some friends. It's basically the same as England, but the teachers are a lot laid back and they're easier to get on with. In Australia, you got the sun, you got theme parks, you got the beach where you could surf. It's fine, really.
But none of this would have been possible if Don hadn't found good work. Back in the UK in 2006, carpet fitter Don was tired of commuting to work in London every day.
It can be anything from an hour, could be 2 hours to get home, just stuck in traffic constantly.
But although he was looking to Australia for a fresh start, he also knew change wasn't necessarily a good thing.
In England, obviously, we're more established, with people that I know in the trade. But obviously going somewhere new and not working, I think that would be my main worry.
In 2006, on their trial week down under, we took Don to a carpet fitter's on the Gold Coast so he could experience what it would be like to work there. Ray Markham was his boss for the day.
Come on in, Ray. What's the first job then?
Well, what we got is a plush townhouse development up Hope Island on the waterfront, and a couple of guys are waiting up there for us, so we've got to get going. So we need to get that shirt off your back and get a Master Kelman's on so you can look the business, all right?
OK, no worries.
All right, well, let's go.
Over 70% of Ray's clients lived in high-rise apartments, and Don had had sleepless nights worrying about his fear of heights and whether it would stop him being able to get work. He was relieved that his first job for the day was on the ground floor of a family home.
It's just like home, really. Weather's not too clever today either.
He could have earned a salary of over £4,000 a month, and he was keen to quiz fellow Brit Carl over what he could have expected.
But here you got the space, you drive off here, you get, like I said, everything get delivered. They're labourers from the building company will get everything all in. So
really?
All you're doing is laying.
The only way you earn money is by putting stuff on the floor.
What goes on the floor?
That's right, that's the same as home, but we have all the other sort of like issues, with parking and stuff like that in town. It's amazing.
We get paid to travel here. If you go a certain distance, not far, you get paid for travelling too.
Don't say no more, please.
Let's call it.
You'll get an influx of English carpet fitters over here like everything.
Whilst Don was being put through his paces, full-time mum Sarah and the children went sightseeing, James Bond style. The water bus may have been fun for the kids, but Sarah was more interested in the lavish waterfront homes.
Do you like to live in a house like that? Now, who lives in a house like this? Oh, no. It's brilliant. It's really good. It's nice to see how the other half live as well, isn't it? Maybe one day if we win the lottery, eh? We might be able to afford the helipad. I doubt we'll be able to afford the helicopter. Huh?
Back at work, it was the moment Don was dreading. Time to admit his big worry to boss Ray, his fear of heights.
Okay, Don, come on. We've got a little job up on the 29th floor for you, mate. How do you reckon you'll go up there?
If he couldn't conquer this, there was no way he'd have been able to hold down such a well-paid job.
Righto, Donnie, there's your time to get used to the heights, mate. We'll just hang over the edge of the balcony.
Oh, there's a toilet in this place.
Oh, it's a long way down there, isn't it?
It's a long way down.
Yeah. There's that for a view, though, eh?
Yeah.
How do you reckon you cope with your fear of heights and grabbing rolls of carpet coming in off cranes on these tall buildings?
If it's part of the job, it's part of the job. I'll give it a go. I'm okay. Not too bad as it goes. I'm not too bad, but.
I must admit, I don't like doing it, but anyway,
it's not great.
That's why I pay other people to do it. Thanks for your help this morning. That was
no problem.
A bit of a show around what we're up to here.
Thanks for showing me around and having a look at what you're doing now. It's well impressed.
Yeah, no worries. Hopefully you'll come and work for us in January, and we'll go from there.
Love to.
Start of a long-term relationship.
Thanks, mate.
You want to have one more look at that view and see what you're going to miss out?
Yeah, I'm going to go out there and see what I'm missing out on.
All right, off you go.
It was decision time. How would he vote?
Where's the best work? Well, travelling 2 hours into London every day, or half an hour to this beautiful place with really nice people, real nice guys. I mean, anyone's going to choose Australia.
3 years on, I got the chance to quiz Don on what it was really like giving up his established business in the UK to start all over again. Don, how did you find work when you first arrived?
It was a bit of a shock the first year I was here. You know, suddenly going, like, no work. Luckily, I've got a good friend in Cairns who had a big job, and I managed to hook up with him for a month. The thing is, I mean, I had a lot of contacts at home, which were really good contacts, and I always had good consistency of work. Obviously, you're coming to a new country, and you have got to prove yourself. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you could be flavour of the month one week, and after that, you know, someone else can be. Consistency of work is one thing. They're very up on what a job is right and what's wrong. So it's proven yourself a lot over here, I think.
Was that a bit of an eye-opener? Because obviously when you came out here, carpet fitters were in demand. Australia needed them. And not to get work straight away, was that a surprise?
Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise. But obviously, I mean, we've got, you know, a world recession at the moment. So obviously the downturn in the market and everything, it slowed down. It is a struggle. It is a struggle getting into it.
Don was desperate to get away from the 2.5-hour commute he faced into London every day. So how's he finding it now he lives in a country as colossal as Australia?
King of the road, the boxcar midnight train, destination banger.
Don's business now covers the whole of Queensland, which is 2.5 times the size of the UK, so he could face a huge commute to get jobs.
You've got to go where the work is. It's a lot different than home here. Australians will travel for days to go to work, you know, and that is real.
Don is self-employed and earns a salary of around £35,000. But although he loves being his own boss in a paradise setting, work is ultimately still work.
I'd say you have to work as hard as you do in the UK, if not harder sometimes. It's not easy. It's hard graft, and you know, that's what you got to do.
Don might not be having the time of his life at work, but that doesn't seem to have put Josh off following in his father's footsteps.
Josh wants to do what I do, really. I prefer him to be a brain surgeon or something, but hopefully I've got the patience for him to do it, because anyone who works with their father and son, I don't think it's that easy, but that's what he wants to do, so we'll give it a go. Here we go, Ian. All done, mate.
With Jones & Son carpet fitters, one for the future, Don had better continue getting a good name to pass on. But it's not only Don who has to face the Aussie roads. Mum Sarah is on her way to work too and has established a relocation business, passing on her knowledge to new immigrants to Oz.
We did have a problem finding a rental property ourselves because they can be quite hard to secure, and where we actually wanted to live and you know, settle our family, there just wasn't any rentals available, which is another reason why I said, right, I'm going to set this company up to try and help people that are struggling to find rentals. Obviously, when you're doing such a huge move and you've never been to Australia, it can be quite daunting in the fact that you don't know where you're going to live.
Sarah goes to visit the prospective houses to make sure they're up to scratch.
Hi Sarah, how you going?
Hi, Wendy,
Good to I'm good. Good to see you again.
Local estate agent Wendy was keen to do business with her.
Great, thank you.
This is our formal lounge down here with the carpeted area.
So open, isn't it? It's lovely.
It's very open.
Big shower. Nice, very nice. Yeah, so we just come round and view it and see whether it's the right property. I have to say I don't ever put a tenant into a property that I'm not happy with myself and I wouldn't live in myself.
But setting up a business must have been a difficult process, especially when your clients are in a different country.
It's been hard, it hasn't been easy. It's like any company, you know, you've got to work hard at it, you keep going at it and build it up that way. Now it's getting to the stage where it's word of mouth, so that's great for us. Hopefully we can help everybody that wants to live here. Wendy, thanks ever so much for showing us around.
Welcome, Sarah, once again.
Yeah, I'm sure.
With 10,000 Brits moving to Queensland alone every year, helping all of them might be a little ambitious. But for now, it looks like she's driving the business in the right direction. In recent years, parts of Australia have been stricken by large bushfires. The worst in history, 2009's Black Saturday fires in Victoria claimed almost 200 lives. Australian bushfires can be particularly severe as eucalyptus trees contain large amounts of oil, which can burn very fast and very hot. I wanted to find out how much of a worry fires were for the Jones family.
Is that something you have to think about when you live so close to the bush?
There has been recently, about 3 weeks ago I think it was, we had one just there, literally there. So
that close?
Yeah, we were on standby maybe to leave the house if anything happens.
Wow.
And as you can see, there's one just there at the moment. We've actually got one just there going on. That's way in the distance. It looks maybe a bit closer than what it is.
That's still pretty close, isn't it?
Yeah, too close. Too close, really.
You've just got to keep your eyes open. At the end of the day, you are in Australia. It is prone to a few bushfires, and hope that doesn't get any worse.
For anyone considering making the move, knowing the areas of higher risk and emergency procedures is essential. And of course, be aware that many bushfires are started accidentally, so make sure you don't contribute. In the UK, Sarah Jones had been dreaming of a move to Australia, where her children could play outside and they could all spend more time as a family. But she was forced to put her plans on hold when tragedy struck. Her brother died and her mother became ill.
She was quite ill for quite a long time anyway, and I thought I can't do anything while my mum was ill.
When her mother passed away, Sarah could start a new chapter in her life. She knew she'd miss her dad, but was confident he would be okay.
When she died, my dad seemed to get a new lease of life. He's got a happy life, so I'm quite happy to leave him now.
But there were other grandparents to think about too.
They come here and we go over there and we have sleepovers, don't we?
Mm-hmm. We'll miss them, obviously.
On their trial week down under, seeing the fairy tale life they could have achieved in Australia wasn't enough to distract Sarah from her grief.
My brother died in 1997, and then after that, well, my mum had, you know, she had bad arthritis, but she just sort of like declined. I knew my mum was going to die, and I just couldn't do it while she was here, still alive. I really just couldn't do it. I felt guilty about going off and like having a nice life while my mum was suffering. It's not fair.
In 2006, husband Don was forced to hear some heartbreaking messages from his parents.
I want you to go there, I want you to be happy. I want you to enjoy the life there.
Yeah, it did choke us up a little bit, look, especially like my mum and dad, seeing them. But I know that they'll come out and see us.
Since making the brave move to the other side of the world in 2007, they've tried to get on with their lives. But a bombshell dropped that no one expected.
My My dad hadn't been very well, and we got the dreaded phone call, you know, because he'd had an aneurysm, and we didn't know whether he was going to pull through or not. So to get a phone call like that out of the blue was really, really hard. And when they actually cut him open and saying he'd only actually got 10 minutes to live because it was that far gone. So at that time I didn't know what to do, because I think your mind goes into shock. You live so far away, you're helpless, and you know, all things go through your mind. Do I go home? Do I take the kids home? Under circumstances like that, what do you actually do?
I thought Sarah should have gone back, but she thought no. She was, you know, she was strong enough to say no. I want to stay here. Thankfully,
he pulled through and he came out to Australia in May this year. Had a great time, but yeah, you do feel like that you are so far away when something like that happens, especially when you're not expecting it.
And Dawn's own father revealed some traumatic news.
Father got diagnosed with Parkinson's disease early on in the year, and I think coping with it is he's doing really well. You speak to me on the phone, he seems to be fine, and I think my mum, you know, my mum's being really good about it.
But there is some good news too. Don's parents can't bear to be without their grandchildren, and they too are moving down under.
They're moving out on next Sunday, which is amazing.
It's great news, it's absolutely brilliant. We're all thrilled, especially the kids. God.
It's fantastic that Don's parents are to join them. But how did they feel when I brought them messages from loved ones who would be remaining in the UK?
Go on.
Cheers, thanks.
Just get the tissue out.
Cheers, mate.
Hiya Sarah, hiya Bone, hiya kids, miss you loads. So everything's going good for you?
Hi Josh and Mitchell, are you alright?
Hello Josh.
How's your football going? Is that okay?
I remember it's about 3 years ago that they left, and I remember feeling, well, quite gutted really. The fact that they were going, and I know I probably never will see them again.
For them to be the other side of the planet, so to speak, it's not knowing whether you're going to see them again is quite a hard thing to...
It is.
I thought I'm going to miss them because I used to see a lot of them when they lived in London. But it's fine, you know, being over there, seeing the place, love the place, wish I lived there.
Sarah and Don are just two fantastic mates that will never be replaced, really. There'll always be a place in our heart for them.
We miss Sarah and Boone, especially with the summertime, and we had the barbecues and Christmas time as well. You do miss your close friends.
I think she misses us. She does. But, you know, she knows she's better off over there. Or her children will be better off over there.
When my dad went ill, we just had to keep her updated. You know, it was a major thing my dad had, and he could have died. So that would have been a big wrench on her. You know, it was... What could we tell her? You know, he's doing fine, you know, just to keep her at ease, and then we could be not telling her the truth and stuff. But no, we just told her the truth, and, you know, if anything really bad happened, I would imagine she'd have just come straight home.
She felt it because she couldn't be here. You know, I mean, I lost a son, and she came and lived here with us because she loved him that much. And she was up here a lot. But she couldn't do that because she was far too far away to do that, you know.
For Sarah and Don, I can't see them coming back. Now they've made that break and they've gone to Australia, they won't come back.
Well, of course I'd wish they hadn't gone, but I think they've done the right thing. For them, they've done the right thing.
There's not a day that goes by that we don't think of Sarah, Don and the boys. They're on our mind all the time.
I hope everything's going great for you, and just bye, see you soon.
See you soon. Unless you come over here and see me, which would be a good idea. Bye.
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 So how do you feel watching that?
I was a bit upset, and I did have to breathe a little bit, but No, it's good. At the end of the day, I've seen my dad and I know that he's doing really well, Nicky. And I'm glad in the respect that we have come out here and he has been out here a couple of times, so we're very, very lucky.
And he's fully recovered, hasn't he, your dad?
Yeah, he's fine now. It was a little bit of a long process for him to recover, but he came out to Australia in May, and he had it in February. So, but no, he's totally fine. Looks very well, actually, so I'm really pleased.
And what difference would it make to you as a family having your parents, Don, to come out to live permanently?
I think it's going to be it's massive for the boys. They're so excited, aren't you, to see Grandma and that. So it's
Not tomorrow, but the next day.
Yeah, we've got an early pickup, and just can't wait. Really, can't wait.
With their grandparents soon arriving, Josh, Mitchell and Harvey can finally call Australia home.
The hardest thing about moving to Australia was leaving my friends, my family.
It was a bit scary, but yeah, I got used to it.
The good things would be the sun, the beach, the theme parks just down the road. It's fine, really.
It's time for one last vote.
We've been living in Australia for just over 2 years now, and our home is very much
Australia!
The Jones family have made the move to Australia, and despite how hard it's been, Don and Sarah feel it was the right thing to do. All three of the boys have settled in really well, and the family love their new life in Australia.
Hello, mate. How are you? Good to see you.
Look, at the end of the day, we're never going to forget that we're English, but we've been blessed enough to be able to come out to Australia, which is a beautiful place to live, and give our children a much better life to what they had in England.
A historic house in Wiltshire and a grand flat in London get a whole new lease of life, the best of Homes Under the Hammer, after the news headlines. Then funding a move to Staffordshire, cash in the attic comes from Croydon in half an hour on BBC One.
Welcome to Wanted Down Under Revisited. Today, we're catching up with the Jones family, who we first met back in 2006, when we gave them the chance to sample the life in Queensland, Australia.
Sarah, Don and their boys Josh, Mitchell and Harvey believed there was a better life for them in Australia. Dad Don was a carpet fitter. He was fed up with his long commute to work in London.
The job I do is very hard, and I'm not saying that when I get to Australia it's going to be easy.
Full-time mum Sarah wanted more for her children.
I don't think by the time they're older, I don't think there's going to be much room to breathe in this country.
They were put to the ultimate test on a trial week in Oz in 2006, where they experienced what life down under had to offer.
You get one life, you get one chance at this. Make the best of it.
You can't stop what's going to happen. You've got to do what's right for your family.
3 years on, I went to see how they were getting on.
Hello, the Jones family.
Hi, Nikki.
Hello.
Did they make their dream move down under, or did disaster strike?
My dad hadn't been very well, and we got the dreaded phone call, because he'd had an aneurysm. And when they actually cut him open and seen, he'd only actually got 10 minutes to live because it was that far gone.
The whole family had been on a nail-biting journey, but did they choose to live in Australia or stay in the UK?
Wanted Down Under puts British families to the ultimate test by giving them the chance to try life in Australia. They have just 1 week to find out about homes, work and lifestyle before voting on their future. But what happened next? We've caught up with some of our original families to find out where they are now. In 2006, the Jones family from Bedfordshire were facing the biggest decision of their lives, whether to stay in the UK or to move to Australia. We gave them a week to experience every aspect of life down under. But was it all they dreamt it would be?
Donovan and Sarah had spent most of their 16 years together dreaming of making a new life in Australia. Don regularly worked a 13-hour day, including a 2.5-hour commute from the family's home in Bedfordshire to central London.
It's just getting harder out here. It's harder to work, harder for the kids to enjoy themselves, and everything's getting more expensive here. It's not getting any cheaper.
Full-time mum Sarah's days were full, looking after sons Joshua, Mitchell and Harvey. She wanted a better life for them all.
You know, the kids will come in when it's winter time and all they'll do is sit in front of the TV if the weather's bad and stuff like that, and I don't really want that for my kids.
They'd faced some tough issues.
Circumstances didn't go our way. We lost Sarah's brother, and then her mother passed away.
And Don's brother in Australia had tried to convince them to emigrate.
Donovan came off the phone and went, my brother just said, why don't we move to Australia? And I thought, why don't we?
But could Australia really give them the chance to leave their troubles behind?
I'm going to find that very difficult, very difficult. It's going to take a lot of getting used to.
It was going to be a huge decision, and the boys were just as worried as their mum and dad.
Miss my house, miss my bedroom, all my friends. I'm going to miss my football team. I don't know anyone from the school, so I have to make new friends over again.
So could they really risk leaving friends and family behind for a better life in the sun?
To help Don and Sarah consider the massive risks they'd be taking, we sent them to Queensland. There were 3 different lifestyles to choose from. One in the country, one in the city, and one on the coast.
Option 1 was Brisbane, known as the River City, where life is played out along the banks of the River Brisbane. The city also boasts its own man-made beach, perfect for children to cool down from the scorching sun. 3 years ago, you could pick up a 4-bedroom suburban home for just £250,000, bang on the Jones family's budget. It was the craze to give older homes like this a slick contemporary finish, right through to the master bedroom. And a typical Aussie deck was a must to enjoy indoor-outdoor living to the max. There was plenty of carpet fitting work in the metropolis, and Don would have earned a salary of around £40,000. That's £5,000 more than he was earning in the UK. Option 2 was the country. Queensland boasts some of the best national parks in the world. In 2006, properties out here were a bargain. You could buy a 4-bedroom home with 2 acres of land for just $130,000.